Welcome back to Second and Short. It is Friday, May 24th, 2025. And as you can tell, because he kind of did it wrong, Luke's here in studio. But typically it's a little different because I'm pointing at the camera, which is how you're seeing me.
Yeah.
But you're next to me. So when I point at the camera, you jump that way. It doesn't really make that much sense.
It's because you scared me.
All right, whatever. You know that Juan Soto might actually suck at baseball. I know you know.
Love it.
It's going to be a big talking point, as well as the other teams that suck at baseball right now. The TUSH push, it lives on. It lives on to see another season, despite, I guess, the Packers' best efforts and 21 other teams. The Premier League season,
and the Falcons.
Yep,
but
we're the good guys.
Yes.
The Premier League season comes to an incredibly intense finish this weekend.
My gosh.
And there's a lot of Champions League and Europa League and Conference League stuff to talk about with it that is just a total mess. So that'll be a lot of fun. But just excited to be back in the studio for the summer.
Yeah, I'm excited to be with you.
Yeah, Nathan's here on the ones and twos.
And
because you're back here for the summer, that just means we're inching closer to that midweek content. So not this week and not next week, but the week after is when the midweek content starts flying. We've already been teasing Luke's Milk Mile. Now he's here in the flesh to start planning that and get that to happen. So we're going to try and get the wheels rolling on that one soon. But we actually have a couple things we're recording this week and next week. That'll be the first couple of videos, and they're going to be really fun. Some games. I don't know what order I'm going to release them in, so I'm not even going to say what they are yet. But there's some fun things to look forward to that we'll talk about here on the podcast. And, of course, if you don't catch it on the podcast, if you have those YouTube notifications turned on and you're subscribed, you'll see everything. So you'll know exactly when those things go up. If you're subscribed here on YouTube, you turn on post notifications, which you should. You obviously should. And, of course, like this video, before we really get into anything, and Luke, can you please stop?
Sorry.
Playing footsie with me? Thank you. Gonna have to get used to being in studio together again.
It's so good to be here.
Of course, follow us on Instagram and TikTok. That's where you'll see some of our short form content that we've got coming out. And on the podcast platforms, rate 5 stars and give us a follow on there. A lot of things to cover today. We got the MLB recap, plenty of things to talk about in the MLB, a lot of good stuff. A little bit of NFL news. Going to talk a little bit about the legacy of Jim Irsay.
Oh, yeah.
Going to talk about the TUSH push vote, a lot of things in the NFL that we'll cover. And then obviously this insane end to the Premier League season that we have coming upon us. Also, I know it's not going to be in the Premier League section, but shout out to Crystal Palace for winning the FA Cup.
Yeah, I just saw that it was their first trophy in 162 years.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of trophy droughts that got ended this season, which was cool.
Yeah, Newcastle was like
Tottenham
70 years. Yeah, well, Tottenham won the Europa League.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, that was a 17-year goal drought. I saw that Lamine Yamal would have been 7 months old for their last trophy.
Yeah, the last time Tottenham won a trophy. But yeah, we got plenty of stuff, and then Nathan's going to be cooking up the questions while we're here. It's kind of like tableside guac, I guess.
What?
Like Nathan's sitting here putting together the questions while we do the podcast.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. That was just the first thing that came to I feel like there's other things that are probably more applicable, but that was the first analogy I had. All right, let's go ahead and get into the MLB recap.
Let's do it.
And let's just start by saying that Ronald Acuna is going to be back this weekend.
Ooh.
I'm so excited.
That's very exciting.
Now, Strider came back last week. It wasn't ideal, but we're going to get to see him again today. Tonight, we're playing the Nationals, and we get to see A.J. Smith-Shawver, who is the current favorite, I believe, or at least by MLB.com's polls, he is the favorite to win NL Rookie of the Year at the moment.
Good for him.
I did not expect whatsoever, but he has been absolutely amazing. After his first couple starts of the year, A.J. Smith-Shawver has totally lit it up. And the second in the NL Rookie of the Year polling, Drake Baldwin, who has also been lighting it up. Like, it's gotten to the point now, Drake Baldwin made it to where Sean Murphy played 2 games last week. That's how good Drake Baldwin's been.
Damn.
Yeah, he's now plus 350, and A.J. Smith-Shawver plus 300. They're the top 2 in the current odds.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to Augustin Ramirez. I briefly brought him up last week, and then I looked into his numbers. That guy's ridiculously good for the Marlins. But, yeah, so excited for the Braves right now. Kind of turning things around. We're 24-24. Yesterday didn't go very well.
Bad at all.
I mean, you start off 0-7. I'll take 24-24. Now, do we need to win some more fucking road games?
Definitely.
Yeah. But hopefully we can get off to a good start here. this weekend and get a good win out of AJ and then Chris Sale on Friday. So a lot to look forward to for the Braves. And typically throughout this podcast, we would spend like 10 minutes talking about just how bad the Rockies are playing. But there's a couple other teams that also deserve some of that time. Yeah, there is definitely a couple of teams. So don't worry. There will only be a few bad things about the Rockies to talk about. But I would like to start with how bad the Pirates are. Because not only, of course, they're playing bad and Paul Skeens' trade rumors are swirling, as they will for the next 4 years of control that they have over him, but their other young pitcher who broke out last year, Jared Jones, season-ending elbow surgery.
Oh.
So he's going to be out, which might pave the way for Bubba Chandler to come up, one of the top prospects in baseball, and maybe we'll see something there. But, not good news for them. But what sucks is that it doesn't matter how good these guys pitch. We brought up Paul Skeens' start that he had on Sunday on Monday's episode, where he went like 8 innings and they lost. He didn't it was unbelievable. But yeah, they just can't get any run support. Nathan, I'd like you to pull up this calendar because it does put it really into perspective.
That wasn't a good stat there. You have IKF, who's second in batting average on your team.
Yeah, not
that
good.
shouldn't happen.
I mean, Nick Gonzalez is first with 3.
Oh, I didn't even read that.
But
yeah,
IKF is obviously first on the team in qualified batting averages.
283. How about IKF?
But so the last time, this is a calendar that visualizes everything for us. The last time every team has scored 4+ runs as of this Monday. April 22nd.
Wow.
Is the last time that the Pirates scored 4 or more runs. They might have scored one during this week. I doubt it. Also kind of insane to see the Mets there, which the Mets did break that this week. Yeah, still haven't. Oh, wait. Or maybe it was over 4 runs. Maybe it was a typo in that on that thing. Yeah, more than 4 runs. Sorry, that's my bad. More than 4 runs.
Yeah.
But the Mets did break theirs, so now the Pirates are really far back.
Pirates been really awful this year.
Yeah, I mean, they're really bad. Here's a fun fact about them. They are dead last in runs scored. And they are on pace to score 473 runs. The all-time MLB record for fewest runs scored in a 162-game season is the 1968 White Sox with 463. So only 10 less than what they're on pace for right now.
Dang.
Yeah.
Leave it up to the White Sox.
Yeah, the Pirates genuinely cannot score runs, despite the fact they're on a 2-game winning streak. They can't score runs. It's almost insane how bad they are.
Look at the Rockies on that list. Is that run differential in the red right there?
Yeah.
Negative 157?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Trust me, they're bad. But you know what's crazy? The team right above them in run differential and in record somehow is the Baltimore Orioles, who are literally just as bad as the Rockies. To start May, both of them were 3-14. Now the Orioles are 4-14. The Rockies are 3-16. But at 16-32, the Orioles are now 16 games under 500. No team has ever made the playoffs in MLB history while being 15 games under 500 at any point in the season.
Yeah.
So obviously their manager got fired last week, so that made a lot of sense. But the problem is not only most of the time they can't even score the runs they need to win these games, but the pitching is just so unbelievably bad. And I've ripped into Charlie Morton and blah, blah, blah. I've gone down the list plenty of times.
Yeah.
Let's rip into a reliever.
Oh, man.
Leonel Perez has appeared in 17 games this year for the Baltimore Orioles. The Baltimore Orioles are 0-17 in those games. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, is he always coming in when they're losing, though? Probably.
I mean, they're losing a lot. And in a lot of games, when he's entering, they're losing because their starting pitching is so bad. But it is just an interesting stat. And he's also got a 6.53 ERA, so he's doing it to himself a little bit in 20 innings pitched.
I mean, that baseball savant doesn't really look all that bad, though. But
it's not. He's certainly not generating strikeouts. It seems like people are really making contact off of him.
Yeah.
And they're not barreling it up, but they are making contact, which is crazy. But yeah, Leonel Perez, 0-17 when he enters the game is never a good sign.
No.
That's a safe bet there. Then, so we talked about this on Monday's episode that Mike Elias fired Brandon Hyde on Saturday morning, refused to meet with the media until they got to Milwaukee for their next series, which was really weird, and said, our starting pitching staff, it's been a huge problem, and I put that on myself and the front office in terms of roster construction. Dude, think about the starting pitching that was out there in free agency. And they brought in one international free agent who has been the only relatively consistent pitcher in Tomoyuki Sugano. They brought in Charlie Morton, and they let Corbin Burns leave.
Unbelievable. I mean, you could have gotten Verlander. Wasn't he one?
Yeah, Verlander was a free
was
agent.
Was Scherzer a free agent, or did he get traded?
No, he was. I think, or actually, no, he was a free agent. Yeah,
yeah.
But also, I think Buster Olney asked Sean Manaea. He said the Orioles didn't even reach out.
Oh man,
Sean Manaea was lights out in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
He should have been getting a ton of attention. Orioles didn't even ask him.
Damn.
It's crazy. It's actually crazy how poorly they approached this offseason. And now they're just wasting all these bats that they have on this team.
Yeah,
That's
a lot of
the
young
biggest
bats
problem.
too.
Yeah,
and you got to think too to dig out of this hole that they've kind of put themselves in. They might end up having to trade off a lot of those bats.
Oh, yeah.
To get starting pitching and relief pitching. So.
Yeah, I mean, you're one game ahead of the White Sox. And last year, you made the playoffs and won like 90-something games.
Yeah.
And the year before that, you won 101 games.
I mean, you're worse than the Nationals, Athletics, Marlins, Pirates. Unbelievable.
Yeah, the Orioles are something fierce, but the Rockies are worse. The Rockies have set the modern record for the quickest team to reach 40 losses, which they did in 48 games. And their starters are on pace for the highest rotation ERA of all time. That's 7.08.
Oh, my God.
And now, look, the Coors effect is a problem, but also you can't just blame their 8 wins on this because Angels relievers are on pace for the second highest bullpen ERA of all time at 7.06. So it's not just them who have bad pitching, but like the Angels are 23-25, and their relievers suck. The Rockies starters suck. They have 8 wins. Here's another fun fact. The NL West, currently the only division with 4 teams with a positive run differential. The combined run differential of the division is negative 28. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like, that's not real.
Yeah.
How do you do that? How do you weigh down probably like 2 of the best teams in baseball plus 2 teams that are playing great? And then the Rockies are so bad that it's negative 28 run differential across those 5 teams.
That's insane. Nathan, could you pull up the Rockies division for me? I want to see the division standings.
The standings it's heinous. It's right there on the right. If you just scroll down, we'll see the Rockies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
It is disgusting. Like Arizona's 26-24. They're in 4th place.
And they're 5 games back, and the Rockies who are behind them are 22.5.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a big gap.
Not the highest losing streak, though.
No.
Padres are losing a lot right now.
We're going to be talking about them too. But this was a great moment to just kind of encapsulate everything they're doing wrong. So on Tuesday, in Game 2 of their series with the Phillies had put up 17 hits in consecutive games. So the first 2 games of the series, the Phillies recorded 17 hits in each game.
Jesus.
For the first time since 2007 for them, and the 5th time since 1935. But meanwhile, the Rockies mascot, Dinger, there are some interesting videos involving Dinger that don't sound good. That's besides the point. He's a pantsless dinosaur, in case anyone was wondering. Was holding up a sign that says, "Let's go crazy," while they gave up 17 hits in the game. It was genuinely funny as fuck to see. And one more thing before we talk about this Jay Cuda tweet that I did see is that the Rockies' 7th highest paid player this season is Nolan Arenado.
He doesn't play for them.
No, he doesn't. He hasn't played there since 2020, but he's making $5 million from them this year, and that would make him their 7th highest paid player on the roster.
That's not good.
Yeah. But yeah, Jay Cuda, the GOAT of graphs on Twitter, in case anybody was wondering, or just all visuals in general. It's a OPS and ERA. What is the name of this type of chart? I can't remember.
Crap.
I don't remember. I'm so far removed from high school math classes. But yeah, the Rockies are in the bottom left corner, which is a problem. They're bad at both ERA and OPS.
Out there on an island, I want to mention as well.
Yeah, nobody
Like
really
they're by
close to them. I mean, shout out to the Pirates and White Sox who are getting, decent ERAs out of their guys.
Yeah.
But the hitting is genuinely the worst in the league. Yeah, the Braves are almost as average as anybody gets. I think technically the Blue Jays would be contending with them, but they're on the bottom side of OPS and ERA, whereas the Braves are on the top side they're almost on the top side of OPS. Interesting to see the Dodgers with bad pitching. It's such an interesting, but also everybody just keeps getting hurt. I mean, the only thing that's even keeping them that good is Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yeah.
It's just every 5 days, he just takes a no-hitter into like the 6th inning, and then everybody else gets hurt or just sucks. But let's cleanse the palate with some good pitching. Jesus Luzardo against the Rockies, of course, against the Rockies. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 10 strikeouts on 105 pitches. This is a crazy stat. Since ERA became official in both leagues in 1913, 2 lefties have gone undefeated with a sub-2 ERA and a 10-plus Ks per 9 over the first 10 starts of a season. It's Jesus Luzardo this season and Randy Johnson in 1995.
It's a good guy to be attached to.
Yeah, that's good company for Jesus Luzardo. Even just like, I'm sure there's plenty of righties that have done it because they specifically said lefties, but like lefty pitchers all time, Randy Johnson's probably the one you want to be right next to.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
And then, of course, like the aforementioned Yoshinobu Yamamoto, of course, took a no-hitter actually into the 7th inning, I think. But against Arizona on Tuesday, 7 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts. Yeah. Like I said, give up that first hit, I think, to Ketel Marte in the 7th inning. Robbie Ray, I keep talking about him every week because he keeps playing well. He's thrown 6 straight quality starts and lowered his season ERA to 2.67. 7 innings pitched, 6 hits, 1 walk, 7 Ks, no earned runs. But the game was tied because the Giants had no offense in this game whatsoever against the Royals. So it was a no decision for Robbie Ray. And then they actually go on to lose this game. And it's the first time he's pitched this season that they've lost.
Wow.
Now, he didn't get the loss. I think he's 6-0 on the season, but it's the first time the Giants have lost with him on the mound this year.
That's insane.
Yeah. So Robbie Ray having a little bit of a second life in his career.
Yeah, shout out to the Giants.
Yeah. And what's funny is that he was going up against Chris Bubic from the Royals, and he also threw an unbelievable game. 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts, and carried a no-hitter through 6.1, and then he allowed a double. But they actually had a scorer's change from the 6th inning where they turned an error into a hit, which just keeps being a problem this season. Yeah. But shout out to that a lot. Yeah, shout out to Chris Bubic or Bubic. I still don't know how to say it, mainly because I haven't watched a broadcast where he's pitched, but it's just Bubic.
Imagine Bubic.
You never know. Sonny Gray had a great outing. He's having a pretty good season in St. Louis, who's 2nd in the NL Central. Crazy stuff for the Cardinals. And they're fun to watch because defensively they're unbelievable. But Sonny Gray against the Tigers, the best team in baseball right now. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 10 strikeouts, and got the win. Jacob deGrom had a great one against the Yankees. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts. Saw a funny clip where Jacob deGrom only throws like 4 pitches, and he shook off his catcher 4 times. And it's just, okay, so what are we doing here? Yeah, and then Kevin Gausman against the Padres. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 9 strikeouts. What a start for Kevin Gausman.
I love this segment.
Yeah. Now to some bad pitching. And I have to once again give it up to the people. We haven't gone over 2 people in the bad pitching category in a couple weeks. So maybe I just have a bad eye for it, or it's just not happening. But Hunter Brown had like his first bad outing of the whole season. He has been lights out for the Astros, but against the Rays, 5 innings pitched doesn't sound too bad. 7 hits, 5 runs, all earned, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, give up 3 homers. But that only took his ERA up to 2.04.
Dang.
That's how good he's been this season. He gave up 5 runs in 5 innings.
He still made it 5, too.
Yeah, he's still got 5 innings of work. Yeah. This is the worst, though. Padres reliever Alec Jacob entered to finish the 7th inning after, I don't know who it was that came in before him, but the guy that started off the 7th inning gave up 4 runs, all unearned, because Manny Machado committed 2 errors, and then I think 2 more fielding errors caused the other 2 runs to score.
Dang.
Unbelievable. So none of his runs were earned, the guy before him.
Something
but
I'm not really used to hearing. Manny Machado and errors.
Yeah, I know. He made 2 errors in 1 inning. But yeah, Alec Jacob comes in, finished the 7th, comes out for the 8th, doesn't record an out in the 8th. His final line, 0.2 innings pitched, 6 hits, 7 runs, 6 earned, and 1 walk.
God.
And this is a great time to parlay into how bad the Padres have been. I think they have genuinely forgotten to play how to play baseball. They're currently on a 5-game losing streak. I think their game started about an hour and a half ago today, but as of right now, they're on a 5-game losing streak after getting swept by the Mariners and now down 0-2 in the series with the Blue Jays. And in this series, as of before this game started, they haven't scored. They got shut out back-to-back games by the Blue Jays.
Wow.
Yeah. And during this whole 5-game losing streak, they haven't scored more than 1 run. Okay, so they actually have scored now, which is good.
But they're losing 2-4.
Yeah, but on the 5-game losing streak, so prior to this game that they're now down 2-4 in, they hadn't scored more than 1 run in a game.
Dang. And just like looking down the lineup, at least the starting lineup for the Blue Jays, those are all guys that can get you runs. That's not a good sign.
Yeah. Yeah. So over those last 5 games, so once again, before today, the Padres scored a total of 3 runs and are 0-31 with runners in scoring position. Yeah. That's unbelievable. Wow. I mean, how? How does that happen? I mean, Wilmer Flores would be laughing in your face.
Yeah.
You're 0-31 with runners in scoring position. And the funnier part about them getting shut out back-to-back by the Blue Jays is that was the Blue Jays' first 2 shutout wins of the year.
Dang.
They haven't shut out anybody, and then they decide to shut out one of the teams that has been the hottest all season, which is hilarious. Yeah, their first 2 shutout wins come consecutively against one of the best teams in baseball. It's hilarious.
Unbelievable.
The other person that forgot how to play baseball, we talked about him in the intro, Juan Soto.
Yes.
I know you've got a little bit on Juan Soto.
A little bit, yeah.
But his first series back in Yankee Stadium that concluded this weekend. Boy, 1 for 10.
Yeah. Should I go through of the little bit that I can remember?
Yeah, have at it.
Because I have no notes for this episode. Yeah, so Juan Soto made his return to New York. I was watching it after I got back from Rockville one of the days. The Bleacher Creatures turned their backs to him when he took right field. Love to see that. And what did kind of make me a little sad, though, is he was still kind of like waving to the crowd, like through all the boos and stuff. But I had heard that he agreed to be mic'd up for this game and then decided during the game that he didn't want to be anymore because he was tired about being asked about Aaron Judge. And then I had also heard that after one of the games, he was supposed to come back and talk to the media, and he didn't do that either. He said that there was like family members outside that he ended up just hanging out with or something like that. But yeah, throughout this whole series, just looked lethargic. Obviously, he's not known for his defense, but there were a lot of balls that went out to right field that he just simply wasn't trying for. I think you have it in your notes here. He was 1 for 10. Max Fried ate him for breakfast, lunch, and dinner when Max Fried started. And, it's a worrying sign for Mets fans. I think it should be because he just...
he looks uninspired.
Yes, which is not good. He looks
like a guy who just got a giant contract.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Exactly.
Is they gave him all the money and now he's not performing, and it's like, oh, well, we probably shouldn't have given him all that money, but that's how that goes. You pay a guy, he gets comfortable, and then he goes on what should be like a revenge series in the Bronx, and he goes 1 for 10, 4 walks, which 3 of them came in game 1, 3 strikeouts, no extra base hits, no RBIs. No RBIs for a whole series by Juan Soto is unbelievable.
Yes.
And then you go to this Red Sox series that they're playing. Struck out 3 times by Garrett Crochet last night. 3 straight pitches he watches. He watches all 3.
That's right down the middle.
He got caught looking in his first 2 strikeouts of the game too.
Kind of a good pitch.
That's a 1-2-3 sequence. I mean, they're great pitches by Crochet, but just will not swing the bat whatsoever. And
that last pitch is disgusting.
Garrett Crochet is probably the kind of pitcher that Juan Soto should be hitting off of, especially with how much breaking stuff Crochet's been using recently.
Yeah.
Juan Soto should be throwing the bat at that, and he's just not. I don't know what his deal is. He struck out a 3rd time by Crochet as well. He saw 7 pitches, 6 of them strikes, didn't take any swings in his first 2 at-bats. Crazy. And also, I think in game 1 or 2, didn't hustle out of the box. And ended up getting a single after hitting a ball that maybe went halfway up the green monster. Like, it didn't look like a home run whatsoever.
It's just like a player with so much swagger like Juan Soto. Like, I feel like this is the first time in his whole career where he actually looks like unconfident. Like, he just doesn't look, like you said, inspired or confident at all.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a team thing. I don't know if it's like a media thing, because like people always say like when a guy makes his first move to New York that the media eats them alive, but they didn't eat him alive when he got to New York the first time because he was playing lights out all season for the Yankees. But when you make that inner city change, the same media
Especially
is covering
in New
you.
York.
Yeah. So he got immediately vilified. So you just start off on the wrong leg. His whole Mets career starts off on the wrong leg, all because of the team he played for last season. For one season, by the way.
Yeah.
Like that's the issue.
Which is, it's just unfair, but it's also just kind of how it's always been.
I mean, that's the price you pay when you're not loyal, especially in a sport like baseball that is very much on, historic tradition and like the unwritten rules and all that bullshit. Like that's how that goes. We were talking about this Red Sox series, and in game 1 of that series, Walker Buehler and Alex Cora both got ejected.
Oh, that was a fun ejection.
Oh, it was fun. Yeah. That's for sure. They were arguing one of the worst missed strike calls I've seen.
Yeah, Walker Buehler had every right.
Hey, I've got the link to the video on there, Nathan, if you want to pull that up.
Yeah, I want to see it again.
It was very funny. I don't know if you see it on this one, but when they showed an angle of just Walker Buehler the whole time, and he clearly says on the replay it was down the fucking middle, and then like 5 seconds later, and it's where it cuts to him on this clip, you just see him just violently just like, fuck you. But like, it's clearly, it was literally a strike right down the middle, and this umpire, which first of all, you got, what, 4 other guys on your crew watching. Your job is to watch balls and strikes and see if there was maybe an interference call. Obviously, there wasn't interference. That's got to get called a strike. It doesn't matter where the catcher goes. If the ball goes down the middle, it's a goddamn strike. Yeah, and then just the most violent fuck you from Walker Buehler after he gets tossed. And then Alex Cora comes out, and things look a little bit civil here, but Alex Cora is probably being an asshole. As he should.
Yeah.
It deservingly so. But then you just see him kind of lose it right here. When the umpire starts talking over him, that's when he starts getting pissed. And then you put the hand up, and then he's gonna do his bitch ass toss too. This is an awful toss by this umpire. Bad form here on the toss. Yeah, that's so lame. What was that, dude? That was like an ED toss.
Yeah. And
then, of course, Laz Diaz, who is the crew chief for this group, which
love him.
gives you a little more insight there.
Yeah.
Let's see. Walker Buehler said, "I wouldn't want me out there either. Sad thing is the bullpen's full of fucking animals. Tough choice."
Yeah. I saw awesome. That. Yeah.
Yeah. That is. And also, they also had umpire cam for Mike Estabrook behind the plate. And they showed it on the broadcast, and they had to cut it off at a certain point because that's when they just start cussing at each other. But you hear Mike Estabrook say on there, "Get back on the mound," right before he tosses Buehler. Pull up Mike Estabrook's scorecard. I've got it linked in there as well.
Speaking of,
it was awful.
Yeah, I wanted to say, speaking of scorecards, I heard that May was particularly a shit month for umpires.
Yeah, it was really bad.
All across the
Mike
league.
Estabrook, unbelievably dog shit here. 95% call accuracy, which like isn't horrible, but it's more about the zone that he had. Look at that. That zone is awful. Yeah, there's not.
I would love to be an umpire for a game.
No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I would. Just to get that kind of stats. Yeah, I would like to test it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the crew chief, like I said, was Laz Diaz, and a reporter asked him about the situation. He said he can say stuff from the mound, but once he comes off the mound, he's leaving his position to argue balls and strikes. And once anybody leaves their position to argue balls and strikes, it's an immediate ejection. That is the rule from the Major League Umpires Association. But like, the thing that I hate about it is Walker Buehler steps off the mound because that's called a pitching motion. And is, of course, moving towards the umpire when that happens.
Yeah.
And then starts yelling from the place he stopped. And sure, he stepped forward a little bit, but also, as soon as Buehler steps up, Mike Estabrook starts walking towards him. So why would Buehler walk back to the mound if the umpire is engaging him? I think Mike Estabrook is obviously 10 times more in the wrong than Walker Buehler because he made the shit call, but also, he provoked him to not go back to the mound. That's what I hate about it.
You're telling me people didn't want the catcher to be able to tap their helmet twice and in 10 seconds find out that was a strike?
That whole thing could have been it would literally have been
It
Fuck,
would've been
I don't
a
know who was
second.
behind the
It's
plate for
not
the Red
even
Sox.
that long.
All he does is tap the helmet. It gets done 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
And it's
whole
a strike.
situation is
Exactly.
is
And
eliminated.
it doesn't change the fact that Lindor stole that base. Literally nothing changes. It's just, oh, you were wrong. But that's what this whole thing is in place for. That whole system works for moments like this where maybe the umpire doesn't see it. Because that's honestly, like, obviously they can just miss calls because they miss calls. But I think that is more the scenario where I'm like, that's why we need the robot umps.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as like that missed call for Tyler Alexander a couple weeks ago, where like he threw the pitch, it went right down the middle. Ump just doesn't call it because like the batter kind of like moved weird to like pull back, and so he wasn't looking at actually where the pitch went. And Tyler Alexander like thinks he got the strikeout and he's just walking, and then realizes he doesn't get it and just stops, and then like turns around. And he's like, "Where did I miss?"
Yeah. Well,
So that's the kind of moments where I'm like, we gotta have the robotic
yeah.
strike zone.
But I also like it when pitchers get rewarded for pitches outside that were really good
True,
pitches.
But
too.
also, the batter only gets one challenge.
yeah.
So you got to use that wisely too. So if you're a batter, sure, you can call the challenge, but if you get it wrong, you're fucked. Like it just has to clip the zone and you're wrong.
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
And also, like, the arguments are just so entertaining. It's,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like VAR. Like, do you ever get pissed off when VAR
Sure.
catch someone offside by, like, their nose?
Yeah.
And it's just
and
like,
they're also like trying to adjust VAR as time goes on. But like,
yeah.
I don't know. I think there's like there's ways to regulate it maybe a little bit better in baseball because like it would suck. Like when Cal Raleigh got like 16 of them right in a row in spring training. It kind of, yeah, I mean, that's just, he's got a good eye for it. He's a good catcher. Like that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's also like, okay, well, like maybe let's not challenge 7 pitches in one inning. That part,
Yeah.
like whether you're getting it right or not, it kind of sucks. Yeah, sure. It is on the umpire in the end, but like it does kind of, it doesn't slow down the game really, but it does feel a little awkward. That's the only thing. But I think that's the same thing as like pitch clock violations. Feels the same way to me. Like when there's a pitch clock violation, like when I was at the game with Jared a couple weeks ago, I don't even remember who we were playing. Oh yeah, the Reds. And like Grant Holmes just like started off the game with a pitch clock violation. And I was like, that is just like the most like awkward fucking thing to happen. Because like, or maybe he started off an inning. I don't think it was start off the game because on the first pitch of the game, Kyle Farmer went yard. But no, like Grant Holmes like starts off the inning and like I'm looking, I'm like, why did he go to the rosin bag? There's like 10 seconds. Like you have to be on there by 7 seconds. And then of course he got the pitch clock violation. I was like, what is happening? Okay. Next thing, let's talk about how crazy this is. The Twins and the Guardians, since the start of 2022, have played each other 50 times. 10 times those games have ended in a walk-off.
Dang.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
For especially in division. So like these are division rivals who have both kind of been back and forth as really good teams in this division for a number of years.
Yeah.
And since 2022, they've walked it off 10 times in 50 meetings. And the crazy thing is Cody Clemens, who I believe delivered one of these walk-offs in the series for the Twins, only has 46 plate appearances with the Twins this season. He's batting .325 with a 700 slugging and 10 RBIs and 3 game-winning hits in 46 at-bats.
Wow.
That's insane. And that game-winning hit by Cody Clemens made it 10 straight wins at home for the Twins, who have been slowly turning this thing back around. Because we talked about at the beginning of the season, this offense was atrocious.
Yeah.
But they have seriously started to turn some things around. Yeah, they lost the next game against the Guardians. And then I think they're making up that postponed game in like September, which I hate. That's the one thing I do hate about, especially division games that get delayed, is they end up just being like, yeah, we'll just do that in like 4 months.
Yeah.
And then it's just like you play a random doubleheader on like a Wednesday and everybody hates it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're getting to the kind of non-on the field stuff. I think I was kind of totally wrong with my take about rivalry weekend being stupid. Sorry. I didn't think the baseball was particularly better, but it produced the MLB's best pre-Memorial Day weekend total and average attendance in 13 years.
Wow.
So it got people out to the park. And I think the biggest part of that is they chose a lot of regional rivalries. But also, nobody gives a fuck about the self-proclaimed Vetter Cup for Eddie Vedder, who's
Eddie Vedder?
who's
The
not.
Cup?
Yeah,
What?
okay. Well, it's called the Vetter Cup. This is the first year they've ever called it that because like it was a joke last year.
Yeah. Pearl Jam is a Seattle band, right?
Yes, but Eddie Vedder, I believe, is from like Illinois,
Oh, okay.
and the matchup was Mariners Padres.
Okay.
There is literally zero bad blood between those two teams.
Yeah.
They don't give a single fuck about each other, but they call it the Vedder Cup, and like
You know
Eddie
what?
Vedder was all over it.
Shout out Eddie Vedder, though.
Yeah, shout out Eddie Vedder,
Yeah.
but crazy. And then like Braves Red Sox. That's not a rivalry. I already went through this on Friday, but like
Yeah.
that's not a rivalry. It's just both of those teams played in Boston at one point.
Yeah.
That's it. And they're
They
like
didn't
two of the original 16 franchises.
They didn't play in Boston together, did they?
I think they did.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
But yeah, like that's not rivalries. But then again, like you got, I think it was Giants Dodgers, and
Yeah.
you got the Subway Series and whatnot. So some of it was good, some of it, who cares?
Yeah.
John Segura, I think it's Jan.
Gene? I've always heard
Gene. Maybe it's Gene. I don't know. I always said Jan. Could be wrong. But he announced his retirement from baseball. 2-time All-Star, by the way, which I didn't realize he played for so many teams. Angels, Brewers, Diamondbacks, Mariners, Phillies, Marlins. I obviously mainly know him as a Philly. I think that's where he spent the most time consecutively, maybe. Either there or maybe it was Milwaukee. But I primarily remember him as a Philly just because we played them so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like I think he finished like 14th in MVP voting one time.
Wow.
Yeah. So like he had a decent career. I think he led the National League or American League in hits in that season. Which is like an odd. I think he had like 200 something hits. I was looking at his baseball reference earlier, but I didn't really take note of much. But yeah, shout out to him for an okay career. I mean, he's on the pension, so he did something right.
Very nice.
That's what matters.
Yeah.
All right. New StatCast dropped.
Oh,
New Baseball Savant visual dropped, and it's awesome. This is the kind of stuff that I like doing. This is the kind of thing where it's like, I want to prove to somebody why a player is different from another player in the way that they hit. And this is literally so awesome.
And if you hate analytics, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. Can you duplicate the screen? Okay, so we'll just talk about it a little bit. So it shows a couple different statistics, but it's all 3D modeled. And a lot of it has to do with like attack point and at what angle you're hitting the ball, and also factors in bat speed, launch angle, whatnot.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing is, I think it's called like swing. Is it swing path tilt? Swing path tilt, which is like the most interesting part to me on here. So I already selected 4 players that I thought are kind of fun to look at. Jacob Wilson is obviously so intriguing as just a player in general, and you kind of have to wonder, okay, why does he kind of play like this? And could you restart the little, because it kind of runs through it. Yeah. So his attack angle is 1%, which is crazy. 1 degree. The MLB average is 10 on your attack angle, and that's kind of the angle at which your bat comes across the plate. But that swing path tilt of 36, right around MLB average, attack direction is huge. And you'll see this among almost all contact hitters. That's why I have Luis Arias in there too. Their attack direction is typically opposite field. So the MLB average 2 degrees to the pole side. Jacob Wilson, 1 degree opposite field. So essentially straight, but with the attack angle at 1 degree and the attack direction at 1 degree, he's pretty much hitting everything up the middle. But with the swing path like that, when you go above that MLB average and you have more of a steep angle, it stops you from popping straight up as much. Because if you're attacking, obviously, like if the ball's coming in like this and you put your bat like this or like this, if you're going to miss here,
It's gonna go up.
it'll be better if it's there or there. But so let's look at Arias real quick to kind of compare him and Jacob Wilson, who are 2 of probably the best contact hitters in the league right now. Arias has a 7 degree attack angle, but his attack direction is 3 degrees to the opposite field, which is once again a huge factor. He's a very similar swing path tilt and a bat speed of only 63 miles per hour, which is leaps and bounds below MLB average at 72. But Arias gets it done. And he hits for great contact, and he is not afraid to spread the ball out to opposite field. Now, Freddie Freeman is the perfect example of swing path tilt being a huge asset. 42 degrees on his swing path. That's almost a 45-degree angle from where he squares his shoulders. And that is why Freddie Freeman does not pop out in the infield. And the thing is if he misses inside, if he swings too far inside the ball, he's just going to put the ball opposite field and streaking down the line as a left-handed hitter. His attack angle is 12%, so 12 degrees, a little bit higher than MLB average, but his attack direction, 0. Straight up the middle. It technically favors the pull side, but 0 for him, opposed to Arias at 3. Now, Rafael Devers is interesting for a multitude of reasons. His attack angle is 8 degrees. Attack direction, he hits 8 degrees opposite field as well, but he is not at all a contact hitter. And it's that swing path tilt being below league average. He swings a flat bat. And because of it, he ends up popping up and grounding out a lot more if he's missing vertically. The other interesting thing with Devers, which is part of this new chart, if you can scroll down real quick, Nathan, you can scroll down to like the chart real quick. Click on competitive swings and filter by that to be the lead. It's the far right. Yeah, click on that. 423 competitive swings this season. Second place is Austin Riley with 392.
He blows everybody away.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. So you can scroll back up to the visual. But like part of that for Devers is, once again, he's hitting to the opposite field. He's not afraid to hit way to the opposite field. And for him, Devers is a lefty, right? Yeah. As a lefty in Boston, hitting to the opposite field, elevated as well, is huge.
Cheat code.
Yeah, it's a cheat code because you're either hitting it off the monster or you're hitting it over. So it's interesting. This is a great tool to see like how guys kind of almost change their game to adapt to the way they want to play. Yeah. Like Corbin Carroll is another good example. There's so many guys like that. We don't need to pull up Carroll. I'm trying to wrap up this segment. But like Corbin Carroll and guys like that, and like Vlad Guerrero Jr., those guys are fantastic players to go and look at this stuff for. If you just want a better understanding of like how guys' approaches work at the plate. And this is something that like I think is an incredible tool for young players. Obviously, you're not going to have anything tracking your swing path, tilt, and whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're cognizant of it and you're thinking about it while you're training, while you're working on changes in your stance and whatnot, it's going to be a factor. I think it's crazy to me. Rafael Devers, one of the other things they have here is a tracker in this new chart is like openness. If you scroll down to the chart, you can see like openness of their stance. So, yeah. Let's see. Where is it? Where is it?
Stance angle?
Yeah, it might be stance angle. Yeah, stance angle. So click on the stance angle one. And Devers has the most open at 61 degrees open.
Kind of blows everybody away there too.
Yeah, I mean that's 6 degrees more, 6 degrees more than Mason Wynn, and then Christian Campbell is the most closed, which also makes a lot of sense. They're teammates, and Bregman is actually the next one.
Yeah,
that's the most closed. But those two guys hit for a much better contact than Devers, but Devers obviously has the much more power upside.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun things to look at. So I urge you guys to just like play around in there to understand some hitters and how they work at the plate.
Could I take a pee break?
Yeah. Let's take a pause and then we'll get into the NFL news. Starting off the NFL news with some sad news. Unfortunately, Colts owner Jim Irsay passed away on Wednesday night, I believe in his sleep. At the age of 65.
Yeah.
I want to do like a little backstory on Jim Irsay because he's such an interesting person. Because like to me, I think he was like one of the better celebrity owners in sports. Like he was a public figure, but he wasn't Jerry Jones. Is really what I'm saying. But like he definitely was a public figure and so important to like the NFL and how it has changed over a course of multiple decades. He took control as the owner of the Colts in '97 when his dad passed away. But when he graduated from SMU, which is where every rich person sends their children, was SMU, started working in the front office for the Colts. 1 year after that, joins their personnel team. 2 years after graduating from SMU, at 24 years old, his dad, and I guess the rest of the front office, gave him the role of vice president and general manager.
Dang.
Yeah, vice president of the team and general manager of the Colts, making him the youngest in league history at 24. Then, when his dad passed away in 1997, he had to take his stepmother to court to get the full ownership of the team. Sued her for the ownership. He got it. Became the youngest owner in the league ever.
At what age was that?
I guess that was 97. I think he was like 34,
Dang.
something like that.
That's crazy.
What, 97? That's not 34, but 38, right? Yeah. But yeah, so 37, 38 years old when he became the owner, which is awesome. But yeah, to me, like, he's so important. But Nathan, I want you to look up the Jim Irsay collection. He was like a huge collector of like important historic things, a ton of like music things. He has like a collection of like 250 plus guitars.
Wow.
That were all used by like famous artists. It's probably easier if you just pull up the Wikipedia. I guess, yeah, they have this list of collection stuff. But yeah, he's got all sorts of crazy stuff.
Prince.
He's got like everybody's guitars.
Oh, that yellow one is Prince's, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of his 44 famously owned instruments. Yeah, collection highlights. You got Ringo Starr's. That drum set is what he used on their first ever tour for the Beatles. Steve Earle's 1997 Gilchrist. I'm not going to go through the names of all of these, but he has a lot of George Harrison. The Beatles are his self-proclaimed favorite band. The interesting thing to me is like the history stuff. He has letters, like, yeah, so he has John F. Kennedy's rocking chair. He's got a pocket knife of Lincoln's. He's got some legendary like literature. Yeah, there's one thing that he has, which is called The Scroll. Yes, the original typescript scroll of On the Road by Jack Kerouac. Click on that. That is 200-something pages, all taped together into a 120-foot roll of pages, which was the original typescript of Jack Kerouac's On the Road, which is like a unbelievably important piece of American literature. 12 feet in length, not 120. My bad. Oh, 12 feet each. Yeah, so 119.5 feet. So I was right. It consists of unbroken single-spaced prose, some corrections, strike-throughs, and additions were made in pencil.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff is so
He's
cool.
got like the editing marks and stuff.
Yeah, and I think he has like the guy that invented Alcoholics Anonymous wrote a book called Alcoholics Anonymous.
On the right there.
Yeah, and that has like a ton of like the writer's actual notes throughout the book. It's really cool. He has Sylvester Stallone's original Rocky script with all his own notes in it. So much cool stuff. A Martin Luther King book, and it's always original copies. Hunter S. Thompson's The Dharma Bums. That's a fantastic book. I haven't. It's Hunter S. Thompson's copy of Jack Kerouac's book.
What a cool way to spend money.
Yeah, right? Like that is so awesome. And like 250 guitars. Like what's the pop culture stuff? I know he has a couple of important things. Yeah, sports for sure. Oh yeah, he has the Wilson ball from Castaway. Yeah. He also one of the guitars he has is the one that Kurt Cobain uses in the "Smells Like Teen Spirit" music video. Yeah. He's got a golden ticket from Willy Wonka, Jerry Lewis's director chair, Al Pacino's annotated Scarface scripts. Yeah, Rocky's boots from Rocky. He also, I think in the sports one, he has Muhammad Ali's boots from the Thriller and Manila fight. Yeah.
Yep.
And Muhammad Ali weigh-in robe and his heavyweight championship belt, a Jackie Robinson rookie card, Jackie Robinson game-used 1953 bat. There's a couple more cool sports things he's got. Yeah, Secretariat saddle that he won the Triple Crown with.
Wow.
So much cool shit. The first issue of Sports Illustrated, which is a fantastic photo, by the way. Just that picture is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a legend. What a legend Jim Irsay was. So sad. I don't know how the ownership passes down. I would assume. I think he has 3 daughters.
Yeah.
I think they'll all become co-owners of the Colts.
I read
this collection.
When Nathan had it up, one of his daughters is already an executive with the Colts.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's got a guitar from 1880. That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, so much cool stuff. He's such an interesting guy. I loved always seeing tweets from his account that were clearly not written by him, chock full of emojis.
Yeah.
Oh, please. Oh. Go Pacers. Good luck to Herb, the entire Pacers organization, and our city. Oh,
Dang.
18 hours ago. That means the news was already out. Yeah. Yeah. It came out in the morning. Yesterday. It came out yesterday, much before, 18 hours ago? I mean, 24 hours ago was 3 p.m.
Was he sick?
I don't know. I think he was just like not like, I know he wasn't doing well,
Yeah.
but like he died in his sleep is what they said. Oh yeah, he also has Bob Dylan's electric guitar from the time that he played electric at Newport, which is like the whole basis of the movie A Complete Unknown. What? Yeah, it's so cool. Oh yeah, Colin's sitting on the floor, by the way.
Yeah.
He'll be a part of questions time. But yeah, we don't have to keep looking through. But he's got so much cool stuff. Everybody, feel free to look up this. I would assume he knows how to play guitar. Not these. I don't think you lay a hand on any of these. No, no.
One strum? Nah.
Yeah, you do that to that one from 1880. All the strings are gonna pop.
Load.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, it's an awesome collection. It's got like some that like people use in like Super Bowl halftime shows. Yeah, it's all really cool. Really cool stuff. All right, let's talk about the tush push vote.
Yep.
So the NFL Rules Committee, obviously this is the time of the year where they vote on all the rule changes. And I think only one rule change actually passed, which was for onside kicks, right? Yeah, so the NFL owners passed that rule that would allow teams, they can declare an onside kick at any point during a game now, only if you're losing, and they'll be kicked from the 34-yard line instead of the 35. Who cares? That will not be used very much. The tush push vote was more important, and they voted on it because the Packers are the team that requested to vote on banning the tush push. They needed 24 votes to pass it, to pass that ban, and the final vote was 22-10. The 10 teams that did not vote for the tush push to be banned were obviously the Eagles, then the Ravens, Browns, Lions, Jaguars, Dolphins, Patriots, Saints, Jets, and Titans. Nathan gave us the fun fact before we started that one of those teams plays the Eagles this year. The Lions. That's it. And the Lions will probably beat them.
Yeah, they might. Yeah.
So it's like, it's very funny. Apparently, they changed the verbiage of what the ban actually was as this meeting went on. And the Bills were going to vote to ban it until they realized that it would stop them from running their version. So that was the other part.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that really kind of screwed them. Maybe that would have made it happen. I don't know. But per a league source, the NFL pushed the Packers to propose this ban. So the league wanted to get rid of the play, and for whatever reason... What? Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah, but I think they were going to vote the other way. Sorry, I think they were going to vote the other way, and it changed because of how they did it. But, yeah, so the league pushed them to propose this ban, and I think the reason it was the Packers, first of all, the Lions did admit that they were asked to, and they denied to take it out. But they then asked the Packers decided to do it. And I think part of that is that the NFL owners are the ones who kind of do this stuff. Nobody owns the Packers. That's why they are a natural team to go for. Obviously, Brian Gutekunst or Gutekunst, I don't know how the fuck you say their president and GM's name, but he would be the one behind it. He obviously was like, you know what? Yeah, we'll do it. But I don't know why they asked the Packers to do it if they can just do it themselves. They can throw these out there and just be like, all right, nobody pushed us to do this. We're just deciding to put this to a vote. They can do that, and they didn't. What? Okay, well, I think it's then I'm thinking their GM is Gutekunst, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think personally, I still think that there's got to be a way to stop it. I don't think you should have to ban a play.
Just sign Desmond Watson.
Or get oh my God, what's his face? Warren Sapp come out.
Yeah,
of
Warren
retirement.
Sapp
I mean,
would
Joe
definitely
Green.
be able to get that done.
But there has to be a way to stop it, right? Like I don't think we should just ban an NFL.
I mean, there is ways to stop it. Don't let them get to 3rd and 1. Play better
Troy
defense
Polamalu.
before. Yeah. It was the Commanders. Somebody from the Commanders. It's the linebacker. Was it Toto? Is that who it was? No. I don't even think he's on that team.
Was it Bobby?
It was fuck. He has like a Pacific Islander last name, I think. That's why I thought Toto. Maybe. I can't remember. But still. Yeah. There's ways to stop it. It's don't let them get in the position to use it. I mean, that's how every other play works in the NFL. Yeah, that's true. Saquon does love getting down at the 1. Ask Colin. But also, the Eagles had like a group at this meeting that was like doing a presentation defending the tush push, like stating their claim why it needed to stay. And it was their owner, Jeffrey Lurie, their assistant GM, John Ferrari, and Jason Kelsey.
Oh, wow.
Was there fighting for the tush push to stay. And apparently, according to the people in this meeting, their arguments were really good. And they had video and data support for why it should stay.
That's pretty cool.
They should have pulled up X-rays of Jason Kelsey's knees, and I think everyone would have banned it.
Yeah.
They would have been like, get this shit out of here if they saw what the inside of Jason Kelsey's knees
what does the average center's knees look like?
Yeah.
Also, like,
Or the
probably like
pressure on the
the
knees,
disfigurement of Jalen Hurts' butt. From Dallas Goedert shoving his hand up there.
Yeah.
He's literally a puppet.
Yeah, he is.
Ugh.
He is. That's why he's not an elite quarterback.
Ew. Ew.
Other things that have come up from this week in the NFL is that there's a new end of the year award called the Protector of the Year, which will recognize the best offensive lineman every year.
Love that.
That was so funny. Nathan just reached over and just scrolled on Colin's phone while he was looking at something. But this was like totally driven, and the credit has been given to Deion Dawkins of the Bills, and then a former NFL lineman, Andrew Whitworth, who I think I heard them talking about this on like a podcast or something, because I remember Deion Dawkins talking about like Protector of the Year. Maybe he said it on a different podcast I'd seen with him on it, but they're being kind of credited as the ones that drove this forward. And it's actually going to be decided on by a panel that will include a number of former NFL offensive linemen.
Perfect.
Which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, it shouldn't be a bunch of like random fucking AP voters. It's being like, I think this guy played some good offensive line. Like, no. And then the only other things I've got for the NFL is that we got who's going to be on Hard Knocks training camp and Hard Knocks in season, which will be the Buffalo Bills for training camp, which I'm very excited to see.
Yeah.
Because they had a very alluring rookie class and all of that. And then, of course, Josh Allen. And then Hard Knocks in season will be the NFC Beast.
Good
the
one.
NFC East will be so fun to follow at that point in the year, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it was. I don't know if, NFL Films just didn't hit the nail on the head, or maybe it was just that people weren't as interested in the AFC North this year because the teams were a little bit odd.
Yeah.
It's not that they were bad. It was just odd. For all of those teams, but I feel like nobody cared about that.
Yeah.
We made a really big deal about it being the AFC North, and then nobody cared.
Then it got there and no one cared. But yeah, the Cowboys, if they're healthy, it's going to make a very interesting Hard Knocks.
Cowboys, Commanders, Eagles, Giants.
And you have the Giants who, they went through all kinds of changes.
Yeah, they're going to be super crazy.
Really excited to see the duality between Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scatterbo. I think,
and also we finally found out why. So they were going to do like that NFL or the Hard Knocks offseason last year they did with the Giants. And then obviously the Giants made themselves look like idiots, which they didn't need somebody to have cameras on them to do that. But they made themselves look like idiots on that show. And so no NFL team wanted to touch that. And then they were like, okay, well, let's offer it to UNC. And then Bill Belichick's girlfriend / potentially fiance now, Jordan Hudson, said that she wanted part ownership in the show and full directorial control. And they said, nah, we're good. We just won't do it.
There's something wrong there.
She's a problem. And you know what's a bigger problem? She's younger than Nathan.
I mean, Nathan's like 32, so I mean, it's
Nathan's 25.
Guess I got to find me a Bill Belichick.
I guess so. Any 75-year-old ladies out there?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, Jordan Hudson is the reason why we're getting no off-season version of Hard
Yeah.
Knocks, and we're not getting one for UNC, which I think
She's,
would be cool.
In the past couple months, had a very big voice. in
That
certain
CBS
stuff.
Sunday mornings thing is so crazy because CBS Sunday mornings is literally just an hour-long puff piece every week. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's not like it was like 60 minutes. If it was 60 minutes, I would understand why she's like, okay, well, like, let's not ask these questions.
Yeah.
But like, it's what? Nathan just fed Colin a present. What is going on over there? What are we doing now? Okay. All right.
But
I'm good.
yeah, she has a awkwardly big voice these days,
Yeah.
and I'm not really too sure how I feel about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, like, there was like a press release that came out that said like UNC had banned her, and then they were just like, that's just not true. So yeah, she's a problem. That is true. She's a problem. All right. I think that's all I've got for the NFL. Was there any of those headlines that we should talk about? Oh, yeah, Aiden Hutchinson's been cleared for a full return, which
Very
is
quick.
awesome. Having
Feel
him
like-
be healthy for the whole season is going to be very cool. Well, hopefully, for the whole season, it's going to be very fun for the Lions.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Premier League. We're going into the final match week, which means everybody plays at 11 o'clock on Sunday, which is always so much fun.
Yeah.
It is always so much fun. So Liverpool, Arsenal, and the Europa League winning 17th place Tottenham Hotspur have clinched Champions League qualification. It bothers me to no end that Tottenham will be in the Champions League, and there's a chance that neither of us are.
Yeah, and Manchester United as well. If they would have won, it would have been like,
Yeah,
what the
they
hell?
would have made it, which is
Yeah.
crazy. So it's those three teams, and then another three more Premier League teams will make the Champions League out of Man City, Newcastle, Chelsea, Aston Villa, and Nottingham Forest. All of them have a chance. So for Man City, it's a win or a draw at Fulham. They've got the Champions League, no questions. Newcastle hosts Everton. Villa hosts Villa going to Old Trafford to play Manchester United. So those two teams, if they both get the win, I think they will hold on based on goal differential. Actually, I think Villa is behind you guys in
And
goal
goal
differential.
differential, yeah. And then Chelsea play Nottingham Forest.
can we see
which is
the
a
table,
massive
Nathan?
game? Yeah.
Yeah, so that is obviously the biggest game of the week for sure. Chelsea and Nottingham Forest, because there's only 1 point between them. But Chelsea does have the upper hand on Villa, and so does Newcastle in goal differential. But there is an interesting seeding scenario with Newcastle and Chelsea, where even if both of them win, where do they finish? Or if both of them lose, even more, by how much?
Yeah.
Because then, it's only a 2 difference between the two in goal differential, which really could shake things up.
Yeah.
So Forest hosts Chelsea at the City Ground. And for Forest, if they win, they will secure a spot at least in the Europa League, or if Newcastle or Villa drop points, they will make the Champions League.
Yeah.
And then for Chelsea, all you got to do is win. If you win, you're in the Champions League. And the interesting thing, though, is if Chelsea loses, because Crystal Palace has already taken one of the Europa League spots for the FA Cup victory. 6th place Premier League team would get the other one. And that could be any of City, Newcastle, Chelsea, Villa, or Forest.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of complicated aspects of this because all that European placement, no matter what happens on Sunday, still has to wait on Chelsea to play on Wednesday in the Conference League final. Because Chelsea's playing Real Betis next Wednesday.
Yeah.
The winners of the Conference League automatically qualify for the Europa League. But if Chelsea win that game and finish in the top 5, they'll take their Champions League spot, and no other Premier League team will get into the Europa League other than Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
So then that 6th place spot won't get the Europa League bid, which is very interesting. But if Chelsea wins the Conference League and still finishes 6th, then and then Newcastle finishes 7th, the Premier League would get an extra Europa League spot, and that would go to Newcastle. And then the team finishing in 8th would be qualifying for the Conference League. So that would obviously shake things up. And then if Chelsea wins the Conference League and finishes 7th instead of 6th, the extra Europa League spot would go to the 6th place team in the Prem, and the team that would be in 8th. They would go to Conference League.
A lot of implications here.
So that makes Brighton and Brentford, who are 3 points apart right now, but Brentford has the better goal differential, extremely important matches. Brighton playing Tottenham, Brentford playing Wolves. But Brentford, if they get the win, most likely, obviously, if they get a win and Brighton loses, Brentford will pass them for that 8th spot, and then potentially they could be making the Conference League despite being in ninth heading into the last match day,
That's
which is crazy.
insane.
Yeah, so potentially those two do have something to play for, and then if that happens where the 8th team gets it and Chelsea goes to 7th and the 6th place team gets it as well, then England will have 10 teams in Europe next year because of Tottenham winning the Europa League. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It is so insane. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a crazy conclusion. So, Nathan, can you pull up those fixtures real quick so we can talk about kind of those big ones? So the first of which being Manchester United and Aston Villa is certainly a big deal for Aston Villa. For both of us, we're just hoping Villa loses.
Yes. Big time.
If Villa loses and then you guys beat Nottingham Forest, we're both safe.
Yeah.
So that's what I need is a Villa loss to Manchester United. Can I count on that? Most definitely not, because Manchester United has been awful. And then Newcastle playing Everton. We need a win. Bad. That loss to Arsenal was just a kick in the throat because we would have already clinched our Champions League spot and it would have been done and dusted.
Yeah.
If we had just won that game last week, or I think even drawn, it would have put us in an even better spot. But it sucks. And then Nottingham Forest and Chelsea, obviously the biggest match of the week, far and away.
Oh, we're playing away too.
Yeah,
Don't have
tough.
a very good away record.
It's tough at
Yeah.
the City Ground. It's not been easy this season.
And no striker too. And I don't know if you caught any of the Manchester United Chelsea game, but Chelsea were very lucky to have scored a goal.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that Reece James 360 cross was unbelievable, and it's been Cucurella
Yeah,
for out of nowhere. So it's going to be tough, especially with Nottingham Forest defense too. Chelsea are going to have a difficult time.
yeah. My
Getting a
favorite
result
thing
there.
about the final match week in the Premier League is that they really use the whole NBC Universal umbrella of channels because you can watch Southampton versus Arsenal on Sci-Fi.
I haven't heard the name sci-fi in years. That's unbelievable.
And Manchester United and Aston Villa are playing on CNBC. Which
is that a watchable game
hilarious.
for us, CNBC?
Yeah, CNBC
Yeah.
is a nationally available broadcast for us.
Yeah. Everybody else on Peacock, though, which is nice.
You got Nottingham Forest and Chelsea on USA, so you'll be able to watch that as well.
Yeah. At 11, too, thank
Yeah,
God.
and of course Liverpool Crystal Palace, which literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
On NBC, of course.
Just-
But I have to watch my team on Peacock, and our game actually matters.
Yeah.
It's great.
But, I mean, at least you have it. And Peacock's broadcast is pretty good.
Peacock's broadcast is good. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just as good as all of these because it's all the same.
I wonder who's going to be calling these games with all of them at the same time. I can't even think of that many Premier
Well, I mean, they
League-
do that at all times.
Yeah, I mean, true. But,
I mean, you're never going to have a guy call the same, like, 2 games in the same day
Yeah.
in the Prem. There's a lot of broadcasters. I mean, and the thing is, too, especially with a league like this, because this is just, because you got to think Sky Sports and whoever else has the broadcasting rights also have their own broadcasters for all these.
yeah.
And then you also have, the ones that are hired by the American distributor in NBC. So fundamentally very difficult and logistically very difficult on NBC to put something together like this, but just has to happen.
Yeah.
But Spurs and Brighton obviously matters as well because Brighton could potentially be playing for something, and the same goes for Wolves and Brentford, with Brentford potentially playing for something if everything shakes out how they need it to. What's your score prediction for Nottingham Forest and Chelsea?
What do you think?
I mean, Nottingham Forest will score. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
They will score.
I think it could easily be like a 1-0 Chelsea loss.
Yeah. I can definitely say I'm
but-
gonna go 2-1 Nottingham Forest. I'm sorry for you, man. But
I'm going to go 1-0 Chelsea just because we need it bad. Trying to
Okay.
manifest it.
all right.
Yeah.
And then for me, Newcastle versus Everton. I'm gonna be an asshole and say 3-0. 3-0.
3-0.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 2-0 Newcastle.
Let's go with what?
7?
4-3?
4-3.
Game's gone. Oh yeah, no, I think we'll win.
Yeah.
I'm not that worried, but I am. I'm
What do you-
very worried.
What do you
but
think
I
for
we'll
United Villa?
win. United and Villa is weird. United sucks dick.
Yeah.
But Villa's great at not showing up when they need to.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
I
going to go
still
2-1
think-
United.
I still think Villa does it.
No, we got to manifest it, Gray. Come
I'm
on,
gonna
doesn't
go
matter.
2-1 for Villa. Sorry. which would put you guys in the Europa League based on
Sure
my,
would.
on my indication.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? I think with how everything is sorted out for the end of the season for you guys,
Yeah.
the Europa League's not like the worst place you could end up.
I mean,
But with how it's gone for this remainder,
yeah.
it's not been great.
But I mean, for Chelsea, I'm expecting a very good summer transfer window. So I think if
Yeah.
we get Champions League, we'll be prepared for it.
And I'm
Because that
sure they're going to spend
dickhead
money.
Nicholas Jackson is going to be definitely out of the team.
Yeah, well, he's not going to be in the team this week because he got a suspension through the last game of the season. 'Cause
Yeah,
he's an
which
idiot.
I watched that. I don't know if I really agree with red card there.
I do. I think it was a red.
I think Sven Botman just kind of milked it a little
Well,
bit.
I think it was red because it was against Newcastle. So.
Yeah.
And also, I'm tired of Sven Botman getting hurt, so let's not keep attacking him.
Yeah.
He gets hurt for he tears his Achilles every season. It's
Yeah.
obnoxious.
Yeah. Wanted to kind of bring up a headline with you, unless there were more games that you
No.
wanted to talk
No.
about. Okay. Liverpool, lost their last game, which was at Anfield.
Yeah.
I want to say it could have been their last home game of
I
the
don't know.
season.
They're not trying whatsoever.
No. But there was a camera that was on Trent at the end of the game, and obviously I think they lost to Brighton was who it
Yeah.
was, and the Liverpool fans were just still going mad, like they're still
Oh,
celebrating, And
Because they won the
Trent-
league. Who cares?
Yeah, and Trent is just staring at the fans the whole time.
Yeah. Oh,
And-
he's
and-
leaving.
But I mean, I think a lot of Liverpool fans are valid because his transfer almost kind of takes away from them winning the title a little bit.
A little bit,
when
yeah.
it broke. So I don't know. I think Liverpool, that right back position has just kind of been settled for a really long time in Trent.
Yeah, and I'm going to be
So-
honest, because Trent is almost 100% going to be at Real Madrid next year.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's a good fit.
I don't think so.
I don't know. And now that's all contingent on what Xabi Alonso is doing.
Yeah,
Because it is a big change in how that squad's going to be set up for Real Madrid.
yeah.
But, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right fit. Is Carvajal retiring, by the way? Is that? Because,
I haven't heard that.
That would suck for Carvajal to just get pushed out of the lineup
Yeah,
at this point in his career.
yeah.
Especially when a former teammate of his is coming to be the manager.
Real Madrid are notorious for doing that. I mean, Carvajal replaced club legend Arbeloa. Keylor Navas replaced club legend Iker Casillas, and
Yeah.
Real Madrid just doesn't really give a fuck about any
Yeah.
of that.
That's true.
And I mean,
That's
they
true.
also
Casillas had a bunch of injuries going on. He
That
had some
is true.
weird stuff happening there at the end where he just couldn't play.
I remember he had a heart condition, but that was
Yeah.
at Porto.
Yeah, but he had some random things come up there at the end of his career that kind of took him out. But you're right. They don't really. If you're a club legend, it does not matter. They will gladly push you out of the lineup if you're not playing
Definitely.
well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Danny Carvajal not going to retire yet. He has hinted at possibly retiring after the 2026 World Cup. That would be interesting.
I'm taking Carvajal over Trent all day.
Yeah, me too. But
Yeah.
also thinking about the 2026 World Cup, man, Spain. Fuck, dude.
Oh,
After seeing them playing the Euros and how their young players have gotten better,
Yes.
oh,
They're going to
dude.
be a issue, brother.
They are.
Yeah.
They've got to. I don't know what the world rankings are right now for FIFA, but Spain's got to be number one.
Yeah. And their average age is probably 27
Yeah.
or something crazy like
Yeah.
that.
I mean, you might actually have a back line of Balde, Kubarsi, Dean Housen, and maybe it could be Lenormand. Right back,
Yeah.
could be Asensio
Or,
like we talked about earlier.
Who's the guy that Barcelona that Alex Garcia?
Yeah,
kid as well.
He's also really good.
Yeah.
They've got a crazy defense, and then don't even get me started on the midfield because Rodri's going to be healthy for the 2026 World Cup,
Yeah.
so he'll be back.
And your
then
midfield
you're
is-
talking about everybody else.
and your midfield is kind of where you're going to have your experience as well.
Yeah,
So it's
Danny
perfect.
Olmo was a standout. You're going to have Pedri and who's the other one?
Puig?
Yeah. Oh well, no, not Puig. What is his name? There's another one at
Yeah,
Barcelona,
oh,
but I'm
crap.
totally blanking on who it is.
Dang it. No, Puig is the one that plays for LA Galaxy now.
Yeah, he used to play it at Barcelona, but it's Pedri.
Crap. Who is the other kid?
Why?
Nathan, help.
Look up Barcelona's current squad.
Yeah.
I don't know how we're blanking. on
Yeah.
this. Pedri.
Gavi.
Gavi. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Gavi. But yeah, those guys, and then Lamine Yamal. I mean, it's literally just going to be Barcelona and a couple of Real Madrid guys,
Yeah.
versus the world.
Couple of
and then
dudes in the
Rodri.
Prem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be insane. Also, Barcelona won La Liga for sure, right?
Believe
I think
so.
they won it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, across Europe, actually, Nathan, can you see what Serie A's? I just want to see their table because I know everybody's kind of wrapping up. I did not look at Serie A at all this season.
They have a close one, I believe. Yeah, Napoli and Inter.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
1 point.
Very close. How about Matteo Retegui? We talked about him early in the season, just killing it for Atalanta. 25 goals.
Yep.
Way ahead of Moise Keane,
Yeah.
who's in second.
Welcome
and
to
Adam
Manchester United,
has been
Retegui.
awesome too. Yeah.
Oh, wow. 2
Yeah.
Atalanta players.
Yeah, I mean, they had 74 points, and they're in third right now. They're
Yeah.
pretty well.
Have you seen
slotted
AC
in for-
Milan on this table?
I
They
don't
have
see them.
been
That's a problem.
bad.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they nosedived out of the Champions League too.
Yeah.
So that's not.
Wow, that's a
surprising.
huge gap. Scroll one more down, Nathan. Look at that. 60-49.
Yeah.
From
How
9
about
to 10.
you know what's interesting about Como? So they're managed by Cesc Fabregas, and that's who Leverkusen wants to replace Xabi Alonso.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Huh.
they want to go for Cesc.
Just
Fabregas.
another Spanish midfielder.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's just like the model is like if you're a team who has been pretty good, you just get a Spanish midfielder to be your manager, and then you'll get better.
Yeah.
Because everybody else
Exactly.
does that. Oh, how about Monza? 3 wins this season. Is that
poor
worse
Monza.
than Southampton?
I don't think so. No, I think it's on par,
Didn't
actually. I think they
Southampton
both
win
have
3?
3.
Nope, Southampton won 2.
2.
They've got a chance. They might beat Arsenal because Arsenal doesn't have to try.
Nope.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's enough of looking across the country. Oh, and they're playing Milan, so they might win.
Yeah. Can we do a Bundesliga check-in real quick?
Yeah,
Is that
let's
all right
check
with you?
Bundesliga, and then we'll go on to questions.
Yeah. Just curious to see.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, why would I want to see the Bundesliga 2 table? But I would assume, Bayern far and away. They
Yeah.
ran away with it weeks ago. Leverkusen in second. Bochum and Holstein Kiel. They're tied. They have the exact same record, 6-7 and 21
Yeah.
with 25.
I forgot
points.
that.
That's crazy.
I forgot that St. Pauli was in the top
Yeah.
flight now.
Yeah, they did get up. Union Berlin, what a fall off they've had.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wolfsburg is back up. That's
RB
interesting.
Leipzig behind Freiburg and Mainz.
Yeah, Mönchengladbach right where they
Yeah,
should be
and
after
Wolfsburg-
a horrible end to the season. 1 point in their last 5 games.
Wow.
Werder Bremen in 8th. Leipzig outside of Europe. I'm even going to make it back to Europe this year. They were fucking awful in the Champions League. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
No, I think their season's over, right? Or no, they have 2 more. Sorry, they have 2 more matches. There's 18 in the Bundesliga. Freiburg heading to the Europa League, potentially. Could be a Champions League team. They might pass Dortmund.
Look at the Bayern goal differential.
Yeah.
My
yeah.
God.
99 goals for, 32 goals. 99 goals for is crazy.
Yeah. Wild.
That is a crazy number. Wow.
Yeah.
And 32 goals allowed is like leaps and bounds the best goals allowed, too. By 11. No, they're probably not going to pass Dortmund. Dortmund's been flying to end the season.
Yeah.
Eintracht Frankfurt. Going to
Yeah,
be in
that
the
was
Champions League next year. How
Much
about
needed
it?
check in there. Dang, Bayern only lost twice.
Yeah, Harry Kane. And you know what was funny was the game where Bayern clinched the title. I'm pretty sure Harry Kane didn't play,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
so funny.
That's crazy.
He's just allergic to being on the field to win a trophy.
Yeah. But he finally got it. I mean,
Yeah.
he deserves this move.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I love that he's still one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
That's what I can appreciate is he left because he was so far past the standard at Tottenham.
Yeah. I would actually argue that he's gotten even better. His assist
Yeah.
numbers are not bad.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think it.
You would like, and what's crazy is that like he's probably not a better Bayern striker than Lewandowski was,
Yeah.
but he's still world class.
Yes.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. Okay, unless you want to start going real deep cuts here on tables, I think we can move on to questions.
Is it that time?
Yeah, I actually, you know what? Let's take a pause, and we're gonna get Colin a mic so that he can talk on questions time as well. All right, it's questions time. You know it's that time. Everybody look at your watches. I thought you might have actually had a watch on, but you don't. Nobody does. Colin just did the perfect time. Colin's got a mic. Say what's up.
What's up?
Nice. All right, Nathan, get us started.
All right. First question. Out of the bottom 5 MLB teams, who gets the most wins from today until the end of the season?
Not the Rockies.
I'll pull up the standings for you guys as well.
I already have my pick. The White Sox.
That's crazy.
The White Sox keep bringing up talented players. That's their best thing. I mean, the Pirates just lost Jared Jones for the rest of the year, so that's not going to help. They already can't score.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Marlins.
Same.
Fair enough.
Going Marlins.
I'm disregarding the fact that I said that they're going to end up the worst team in baseball.
They're also bringing up a lot of good players that
Yeah.
I like. So,
They're about
but
to
it
hit a
does suck
major
that
comeback.
they lost Griffin Conine for like the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Like a couple months. But yeah, I'm going with the White Sox. Tim Elko's been killing it since he came up. Shout out Tim Elko, College World Series legend from Ole Miss. All right, that was
All right,
fun.
next question.
Good question.
How many games back will the worst team in baseball finish behind the best team?
Oh,
Right now, they are 24 and a half games back.
I think the Rockies probably finished like 43
think about this.
games back.
Think about how many games. How much of a difference
Yeah.
is it from 20 to 100?
Luke, I think it would actually be a lot
You're
more.
way
I think
behind.
40 is actually really low.
Right now, the Rockies are
well-
on pace for about 26 wins.
I mean, the best team would probably have over
Tigers will
Yeah.
probably have 100 or more.
I'm
so like 70.
It's gonna be like 70 or 80.
gonna go 71 games.
Yeah, I'll go 74.
72.
Oh, you
Nice.
bitch.
Thanks, Colin.
Now we got a couple would you rathers for you guys.
Oh, perfect.
Would you rather be a legendary coach of a mediocre team or a mediocre coach of a legendary team?
Ooh,
I'll be the mediocre coach.
of a legendary team. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go legendary coach.
Yeah.
Of
I
a
think
mediocre
legendary
team.
coach is probably the move. I'm trying to think of examples of that though. Legendary coach of a mediocre team. So like you were a great coach, but you didn't win much.
Nick Saban's last year at Alabama.
Well, yeah, but like that's not. I'm thinking your whole tenure. You're because like if you're a mediocre coach of a legendary
Nick
team.
Sirianni.
Yeah. That's,
Well, I mean,
that's
if
a good
you're
shout out,
if you're the
Ryan.
mediocre coach, you can still be like, look at all the rings.
Yeah, that's
Nick
what I'm
Sirianni.
saying.
So
That's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
like. But for me, like if you were a mediocre coach, that means you didn't win.
Well, no,
But
because
you
the
did.
team is so good.
Are we
Yeah.
saying the team or like the franchise?
What do you mean?
So like, if your franchise is legendary, but you were just a mediocre coach for like, but you had the job for 10 years, you didn't win anything, but you were like decent.
I would say legendary team means that like you're making it to whatever your championship is for that sport.
Okay.
yeah. Yeah,
'Cause
I'm the
I-
mediocre
that-
coach.
that's-
Not every year, but like
Yeah.
pretty consistent. Like the Chiefs in the last 5 years. Think that.
Yeah,
is,
but
like,
also they have a
legendary.
legendary coach and they're a legendary team.
exactly.
That's a problem. I'm trying to think of one that makes like Sean McDermott with the Bills is I think he's going to be a legendary coach when it's all said and done, but it's
That
technically a
team is
mediocre
not
team
really
because they've never
legendary.
won a Super Bowl.
And they don't
Yeah.
have any receivers. Or
Yeah,
anything
like there's
that,
things
right?
about yeah. I think I would much rather be the legendary coach.
I'm taking Luke's pick as well. I'd want to be the mediocre coach, legendary team.
yeah.
Get the rings.
Nah,
I'd
I'd rather be on the all-time
Did you,
wins
Colin?
list.
Did you answer that one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
said legendary coach.
Okay.
Would you rather your team win a Super Bowl but never have a winning season again, or your team never win a Super Bowl but always be average?
So that's the Falcons already. Is never win a Super Bowl but always be average. Sometimes they're worse than that.
If Luke's team didn't win so many Super Bowls, they would be always average.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now they are.
Exactly.
Wait, so the
The last,
question
like,
was
decade.
be average and never win a Super Bowl, or win a Super
No.
Bowl and be shit?
Always be pretty good, right?
You'd always be like around even.
Like you-
So you'd always
oh.
be 9-8.
So you don't know if you're making the playoffs.
Fuck
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I'm winning the Super Bowl.
But even
Yeah,
if
I'd
you-
rather just get one
even
Super
if you
Bowl out
made
of
the
the way.
playoffs as like a 9-8 team, you're not gonna win.
I think it's probably
I-
different for me and Colin and Luke because our franchises never won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm taking that one Super Bowl. I don't care.
I'm
if we're
taking the Super
Yeah.
Bowl and
2
then I'm retiring.
15.
Yeah, exactly. I need one Super Bowl and then we're good.
I'm gonna take the mediocrity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is just your current life. So,
Yeah.
so take your
Well,
current
no.
life as a Steelers fan.
Yeah, I would rather the Steelers never win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, 'cause you already have
but-
17 of them.
Yeah, because I mean, every year I feel like we have like a chance, which gives me enough interest as a fan to keep buying in.
But if you knew damn
Fair.
well you weren't gonna win,
Exactly.
You'd
I'd
be
just
okay with
relaxed.
being
I would be
Yeah.
okay with it.
and it doesn't mean you're not going to the playoffs. It just means you're not gonna win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's
so
a
like
tough
you could
question.
still watch your team go to the Super Bowl and lose though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I also
Suck.
like because of how bought in I am. I don't want to be one of those fans that's like, oh, I never got to see it in my lifetime. my team
Yeah.
hoists the Lombardi.
That's why I need to see the Falcons win a trophy.
Yeah.
Last, would you rather here?
We certainly could have.
Would you rather be the best player on the worst team or the worst player on the best team?
Best player on the worst team.
Worst player on the best team.
Really?
Easily.
Colin?
You're telling me you don't want to be fucking who was that guy? Patrick McCaw? I mean, he wasn't the worst player on the Warriors, but bro won 3 straight finals with 3 different teams too.
This is tough.
Actually, I'm going to change my answer. I'm going to go worst player because you're still a part of
Yeah, you're
something
part of
amazing, and I'm sure your mental health is a lot
It's-
better, even though
so
you're
you-
playing
you
off.
don't
It
have
depends
the
on the
weight of
sport.
Yeah.
Actually,
entire
it depends on the sport for me.
My thought always goes to basketball just because there's only 10 guys that play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
a lot easier
Now-
to quantify it.
If I'm a basketball player, I would rather be the best player on the worst
No,
team.
basketball, I'd rather be the worst because that means I'm the 15th best on my team. In the NFL, I'm the 54th best guy on the team.
That's true.
That's
why
And
they-
in the MLB, I'm like the 40th best on the, or not the 40th, because like if I'm gonna make the playoff roster, I'm the 24th
That's why they
best
say
player
it's
on the
so
team.
hard to go pro in the NBA, and that's why NBA, even the
Yeah.
worst NBA player, is so much better than the best basketball player you know personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's only 2 rounds of a draft. There's only 15
There's only
roster
450
spots.
players
Yeah,
on
Yeah.
an NBA, like in the NBA at
in
one
the
time.
NBA. So like,
Yeah.
It's tough.
it's so difficult to make it.
Yeah, no. So I would rather be the worst player on the NBA team because at least like even if I'm at the end of the bench, I probably got a couple minutes.
Yeah. Plus, you could just go overseas and then become the best.
Yeah,
player
exactly.
On the
I
worst
could just
team
go
and shit on
like
everybody.
I'll win a couple finals as like a just a
Role
non-factor.
player. Yeah,
Not even a role
not
player.
even.
Yeah, no. I just garbage time, white boy, put him
Nah,
in the
just
corner.
think of Bronny James.
I mean, he didn't win anything though.
No, but he's worst player on the Lakers.
No, that's fair.
I like that you said Yankees.
Yankees, yeah,
Big
Sorry.
fan of the Cowboys as well.
yeah.
Nah, my bad.
No.
Like Luke,
Nah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, worst player on the best team.
Yeah.
I'd be the best.
I think it's more
player.
dependent on the sport though, because like
Yeah.
I'd be so down to be the best player on the Browns,
Yeah. Do you want to be Paul Skeens?
dude. That's the other thing. It's like baseball. I mean,
Yeah.
But the
being
thing with
Paul
baseball is
Skeens
like
is pretty cool.
The worst, or
But the best player on the worst team's
team-
getting traded at the deadline once he has 2 years
Yeah.
of contract left.
Exactly. But then you might end up on
You're,
the Dodgers.
you're
Yeah.
the center fielder for the Rockies.
Brenton Doyle, he's a dog. I love him defensively. He's amazing.
Yeah, but if you were in his shoes, how would your mindset be on the Rockies?
It's
right
a little
now.
bit different because,
Baseball's a tough one because one player can't win you a game.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
we saw
I
Paul
mean, the
Skeens
same
pitch a
with
complete
football.
game and lose, and he
Well,
only gave up.
I
what,
say it's
a
the same
run?
with football, but like Josh Allen. But they have an offensive line that's really good.
Yeah.
So
It's that's why basketball always comes to mind because like
yeah,
basketball players, like especially
But,
high
like,
school kids, they go to small schools
in-
knowing that they'll be
yeah.
the best.
But like in baseball, you're talking about the difference between like a middle reliever that never comes in on a team that wins a World Series versus Mike Trout's entire career.
Yes. Well, he did have Shohei at one point.
Yeah. So he wasn't even the best player on the worst team. He was the second best player on the worst team. But like he's made the playoffs one time. They lost a wild card game, so he's played one playoff game. He didn't get a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
tough.
that's yeah, it sucks.
All right. Last question. What sports technology or equipment do you think has been the most impactful to its sport or the world?
Ooh.
NFL.
I hate that the NFL doesn't give us anything. The NFL doesn't make anything public. Like we just watched an in-depth breakdown of the way that players swing.
Yeah.
At like
Yeah.
an extremely high
But
level.
the
But the NFL just gives it their like next gen stats, and it's like
Average
if it's
sprint
blue
speed.
right here, that means it was a completed pass.
I was
what?
I was thinking more of like equipment point of view.
Oh, I was
That
thinking
they
more
use.
of
It's
like
Something like
It's
StatCast?
technology or equipment.
yeah. See, like that's what I'm talking
Like
about. Is like
StatCast?
StatCast stuff, like that kind of track, like launch angle and exit velo tracking. I think is massive.
That's what I
Yeah.
would go with.
But like you could even go down maybe more specifically and be like, well, for pitchers, if you're more talking about like the technology that's tracking spin rates and horizontal and vertical movement and like that kind of stuff, or for hitters like like a specific piece of technology like blast monitors and they're tracking stuff like that
Yeah.
kind of
One of-
stuff.
One of the
is-
examples that popped up as like most impactful was using like medals for drivers in golf.
That's a great- yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like it's talking like very specific.
Yeah, and I mean
like,
you're talking about
olden
like different
times,
types
like,
of
changing.
shafts
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
like
shatterproof backboards kind
Yeah,
of thing.
the-
Like,
the-
those
That's
are
true.
First thing that I
hugely
thought of
impactful.
when you asked that question was the Guardian cap. That's the first thing that came.
Nobody
to mind.
fucking uses
Yeah,
it though.
If everyone had to use it, then maybe. But then
Yeah,
it'd be
I mean, you
kinda
see a lot
silly.
during training camp.
Well, because they're mandatory.
Yeah, they have to.
So I don't know,
Yeah.
but definitely baseball on the analytical side. I mean, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah,
So-
I genuinely can't stand NFL Next Gen stats because it is just simply not
boring.
next
Every time
gen.
I pull it up for us on this stuff, I'm like, wait,
It's
this
last
is showing
gen.
me
It also
nothing.
can be
Dude,
just kind of
doesn't even
confusing to
update fast
read.
enough.
and
I don't need to
stuff.
look at like a guy's routes.
It doesn't even
I don't give
update
a
fast
fuck.
enough. When we do it,
Yeah.
I can pull it.
We gotta
up.
wait till
I-
like next week.
I can't pull up the Sunday
Yeah.
games Sunday night. I have
No.
to. I can only pull up Thursday and maybe the first one.
But we
o'clock
could
game.
literally be getting live updates on like 8 different statistics from each pitch in an MLB
I
game.
can,
Yes.
I can go to Baseball Savant right now
Yeah.
and see that somebody just hit a home run, and instantly I can know what parks that was a home run in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like basketball too.
and
Like
the
I know.
expected batting average of that hit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like we don't cover basketball, but like basketball has a plethora
Yeah.
of stats that you can see pretty
Yes.
instant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And so like that stuff's helpful. And like basketball has definitely been one of them that's like incorporated like augmented reality into a lot of stuff too.
what about like basketball shoe technology?
Yeah, I mean that's
Or,
a
like,
huge
cleat
one.
technology.
No, I
Yeah.
think basketball shoes are potentially the
soccer
biggest.
cleat
soccer cleats for
technology.
sure. Yeah,
You know how many people don't know that Converses were basketball shoes?
exactly. That was the point I was
I
just
know
about to
that
make.
they are. I wore them to hooping.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, that was
My Larry Bird
that was like the
shoes.
big trope is back when Michael Jordan, he had like the Jordans come out. Magic Johnson signed with Converse.
Yeah, well, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were the faces of Converse when Michael Jordan
which is
got drafted.
wild.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
There's also the fact that people think that the technology in a Jordan 1 is comparable to basketball shoes now.
yeah.
They're
They're
not.
like, you can play basketball in these, right? I'm like, I mean, yeah, but like,
It's,
no,
Yeah.
you shouldn't.
you find a
Yeah,
better
well,
one
it's
a lot
like, you know,
cheaper.
you could play football in a leather helmet.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not going to help you very
Good luck
much.
when your head is in your ass,
Yeah.
literally,
Exactly.
or rolling off your body.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, there's a
I
there's
think the
well a
golf
few
club
too many
might actually be
the golf
used
club one is a
for
very good
actual
take. But
equipment.
also aren't they about to change the ball to make it go not as far? Isn't that like what they've been trying to do for like a
Yeah.
couple of years? They're trying to get that to pass
That's
where
great.
the PGA is just going to force you to use a ball that doesn't fly as far. Because they're tired of people hitting so far.
Tired of Bryson driving
Yeah.
the greens.
Yeah. They don't want people
They're like, we don't want to have to make the course.
Yeah,
longer.
wait, we don't want you to eagle a par 4. Like what?
We don't want you to have an advantage because you
Are
train on
better.
how far you can hit.
We don't want you to be at an advantage because you're a better athlete than the other people.
Yeah.
We want the common white guys to also be good. We need, but like that's the thing. We need guys to go out on tour and just like shoot a 78 every time they walk out there.
yeah.
We need that.
Shit, we could put Cullen on the tour if we need like an 85.
Colin, you down?
I'm down.
Well, remember if he was Scotty Scheffler, he'd be better than him.
Yeah.
That's true.
What a fucking ridiculous dude! I was like laying in my bed on Sunday night, just like, is he fucking stupid?
Yeah. Yes.
That argument was so funny.
Yes.
I don't know if you saw it, but on Monday's episode, at the end, we were talking about the PGA Championship, and Colin was like, if I was Scotty Scheffler, I'd be better than him. No, you would be Scotty Scheffler.
You can't be better than him if you are him.
Exactly.
Look, that's like you saying, I'm Messi, but I'm better.
Yeah, if I was Messi, I'd be better at soccer than him.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
don't know.
It was a long day. All right,
Yeah.
cut me some slack.
I mean, I was the one who thought that MLB players use metal bats. So.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I mean,
That was-
but at least you didn't argue with me. You were just like, oh, I thought they did. And
I
was like,
wanted
no.
to
You're
run
like,
away.
damn.
I wanted to erase my social media presence.
I wish that would have happened on an episode like this,
Oh,
where
yeah,
all of us are in here, and
Oh my
that's how we
God.
all found out.
It would have been a huge miss to not have Colin and Nathan on camera.
Would have been burned at the stake.
Yeah, I probably would have been losing my mind.
Colin would have jumped on the table.
You know what happens
Man.
with girls on elevated surfaces.
Oh, well, Colin's not a girl, but all right. Is there any more questions?
That's it.
Luke, I'd like to give you the floor if you want to talk about your experience at the music festival, because I brought it up on the podcast that that's where you were. So,
Oh yeah. It was amazing.
highlights, lowlights.
Yeah, there wasn't many lowlights, that's for sure,
Good-
except for just
good
the
start.
toll that it was taking on our bodies.
Yeah.
How was
Oh
Green,
my
how was Green
God.
Day?
Green Day was amazing. I got really close to Green Day.
That's sick.
Yeah, we had to. That was like one of the main bands we were there for.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
probably what the biggest band that was there.
They were the largest crowd.
Okay.
They had over 100,000 people.
Yeah.
For Green Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we
Shout out
were
Billy Joe Armstrong.
Rockville showed like an aerial view, and we were probably under where you couldn't even see the crowd because of the stage.
Oh wow,
We were that close to Green Day.
that's awesome.
It was so cool.
How early did you get there for that?
Didn't even have to get that early.
Wow.
Yeah, we
Well, I
were
mean, that's
fighting
the
through
nice thing about a
crowds.
music festival is that they're all over the place.
Yeah,
So that helps. Where was it at? Daytona?
it was at the Speedway.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that was cool to see the Speedway as well. It's huge.
Yeah.
Just like walking beside it, it's like, you know, when you're walking down the beach and you're like, okay, I'm going to walk to that hotel. And it
Yeah,
just takes
it's so
forever to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the
trust me,
Speedway.
I know.
Dude, I think that's. I think people are gonna realize that too when the Braves and the Reds play at Bristol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the way that stadium looks like in the renderings. You don't realize it, but it's like
Aren't the stands far away from the field?
part of it is. But I think there
Yeah.
will be some seating there, but it's like it doesn't even take up the entire infield of the track
No.
to have a full MLB stadium.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What was crazy though is our tickets were wristbands, right?
Yeah.
Like wristbands that we wore.
That's how most music festivals are, I think.
But you couldn't leave and come back until the end of the day on Friday. So once you were in, you were trapped.
Oh,
And it's like $15 beers, $5 water, like $25 food. It was unbelievable. They finally lowered the price of water to like $2.50. And then they allowed us to leave and come back. So on Sunday we left and come back like
that's so
twice.
weird because like I feel like other music festivals. Obviously, I've never been to any, but like I feel like when I see people like doing stuff at Coachella and stuff, they just go later. Like they just go back later.
Yeah.
At least I think.
That's how it was at Rock the South when I went over in Alabama. I
Yeah.
was able to leave and go back.
Yeah. Thursday we were there all day long. Same with Friday.
Dude, I just can't do that. I can't
But,
handle that.
Yeah, it was a really great experience. The friend that I went with, shout out Aaron, it was he knew a lot more bands that were there than I did.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think I'm definitely a little bit of a metalhead now. I kind of understand that
Nice.
music.
Nice.
You know, because like listening to metal music like in your radio, like driving down the road is like,
It is
what
a
are we
little bit
doing?
odd.
But like now that I have like an ear for what it sounds like live, I can listen to it on the radio now.
That makes sense.
But yeah, like some of the coolest acts that I saw, obviously Green Day. Sublime was probably my favorite. Y'all know how much I like Sublime, all that ska and reggae stuff. Marilyn Manson was really cool just to see in person.
yeah.
Do y'all know what Marilyn Manson looks like?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's crazy.
Jarring.
Korn was the roughest crowd I was at because not only was it the headlining act where you had the most people, it's also
Yeah.
Korn.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
they make
the
music
kind
that
of
makes
music
people
that makes
wanna
you want to.
fight.
Yeah. Exactly.
Saw a unconscious guy getting carried out of Korn. Someone came out of the
That
concert.
just sounded funny as fuck.
Yeah, someone had like blood on their face that was like walking out of
Jesus.
Korn.
Once again, hilarious.
Yeah, trying to think of other things I could cover quickly. We tactically crowd surfed and moshed.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is my friend Aaron, who was at Korn, he looked at me and was like, "Bro, I'm about to pass out."
Oh.
And I'm like, "Okay, well, you don't want to pass out in the cornfield. That's not the place to be
Do
a
they
dead body
call
in the
it that?
cornfield." That's what they do.
That's
call it.
hilarious.
Yeah. So Aaron crowd surfed to get out of Korn. However, what happened to Aaron? We were right by the mosh pit for Korn. What are y'all laughing
You
at?
keep saying corn, and so it just sounds fucking stupid if you're not thinking of it as the band. You're like, yeah, he crowd surfed out of corn.
Yeah,
Like he's like stuck in a silo.
Y'all just don't get it.
No, we
That's
get it.
that's what
It's just hilarious.
So Aaron crowd surfed out of this band called Korn.
Thank you.
And they put him in the mosh pit on accident.
Oh,
So
nice.
he was about to pass out, and now he's getting moshed.
Yeah.
And then he just crowd surfed and got out and threw up.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is sick.
but
It's a good move.
yeah, like if we were bored of a band, we would just crowd surf out.
That is funny.
Yeah,
That is very funny. It's
Yeah.
like the preferred mode of transportation.
yeah. But life-changing experience. I would recommend anybody to go to Rockville,
That's very
even if
cool.
you don't like metal. Go to Rockville.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's my thing. I just don't think music festivals are my thing. I could do like a concert.
You don't
God,
want
it
to
was
go.
so much
You don't
fun.
want to go to the cornfield.
No, I don't.
I kind of want to go to Shaky Knees in September. They have one day where it's Lenny Kravitz, Sublime, and Deftones as the headline.
That is really good.
Yeah.
What was that? Oh, okay.
Sounded like you were popping gum.
Yeah, dude, that was weird.
Yeah,
That would be a fun one.
yeah, love to.
All right. I think that's everything.
Spanish phrase?
Spanish phrase, yeah.
Yeah.
Hit us.
I want to teach y'all some jewelry phrases.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Colin, are you wearing a chain today? You got
Always.
your chain on? Okay. Yeah. So Colin's got a crucifix chain. Very beautiful.
Is
That
it a
is
crucifix
a.
or just a cross? I
Does
thought
it
the
have-
cruci-
does it have Jesus
Does
on
it
it?
have him on it?
Okay, so just a cross.
Yeah.
But that is a collar.
Collar.
Yeah, which is also the word for neck in
Oh,
Spanish.
That makes
So
sense. So like collar.
yeah, so a redneck is you actually shorten collar and you say collar rojo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for
So,
redneck.
Collar.
Rings are anillos.
Anillos.
Yep.
Oh, I knew that.
Reloj is a watch.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't know what earrings are. Maybe
Probably.
maybe oreja or anillo de oreja.
Yeah, that would.
Earring. But what was the other one? Oh yeah, ovo, like Ovio,
Mhm.
Drake's brand. It's spelled the same way. That's going to be gold. So if something's gold,
That was Oro. Thought that was gold.
you're right. Oro with the R in the middle.
Look at this.
Look at that. I always get those confused. And then obviously diamonds is diamantes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look at me correcting Luke on Spanish.
That's good. Thanks for the correction.
I mean, I took a lot of Spanish classes in my life, but I didn't hold on to it at all. Thank you, Colin, for that, for a callback to 2 weeks ago.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. This was a blast. We covered a lot of fun stuff, a lot of baseball to watch this weekend. Obviously, the end of the Premier League season this weekend. And we're just kind of very slowly inching towards the NFL season. But the fun stuff is yet to come.
It's going to be a good summer.
2 weeks, midweek content gets flying.
Yeah.
Gonna have things coming out every single week on Wednesday. I'm trying to think. I feel like at some point we got to do like a fun, like a themed live stream where like we got to do something before we're done. I think that would be a lot of fun. Like on a Wednesday night, either we're all in person or something, and we should do like one of the live streams where like there's a challenge and we can't be done until we finish the challenge. Not like anything too crazy, but like something where like we'll call the cutoff like midnight.
You don't
or
want a
whatever.
6-hour live stream?
No. Well,
Really?
no. That's what I'm saying. It could be 6 hours.
You don't want a
to do the
72-hour
challenge.
live stream trying to hit a hole-in-one on a
No,
simulator?
we're not going to do that. But it could be something
That would take
similar
3
to
hours.
something that like Barstool After Dark has done or something like that.
Eat 100 wings between the three of us.
I mean, that'd be like a 30-minute
That's an
stream.
hour. That's an hour.
Yeah, I was going to say, that would
Yeah,
100 would be nothing.
That's nothing.
Colin and Grayson could do that without
We could
us.
probably eat like
it's probably
15.
true. Yeah.
We could just sit there and watch them eat, honestly.
Yeah.
And they'd get done in an hour.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be very fun.
100
We'd have
wings
to
in an
really,
hour?
Yeah, we have to really.
I've
run.
Y'all
watched
could
Colin-
do that?
I've
I think we
watched
should
Colin
do
eat
like
51.
we should do like pancakes.
We just go live stream in a Waffle House.
I mean, we don't have that capability to have that high quality, unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah, then the pancakes are they're gonna be.
I
Cold.
gotta.
Well, no, we could just have somebody downstairs making them.
We could do a putting mat, and we have to go until all of us make like 3 in a row.
We
Or
could
like
do a
5 in a row off like 10 feet.
Yeah, we could do something like that.
And that way, like if somebody finishes,
Yeah,
they can just sit there and watch the other.
Yeah, we could do
people
that in
and
the
go
other
home.
room. Do that in the other room. Just have something set up. We just keep putting.
Mm-hmm.
That would be fun. Okay, well, we'll
Workshop.
We'll
workshop something on
Yeah.
that.
I have the putting mat. So.
Yeah, but like I think it would just be like on like a Wednesday night. We'd all like do something starting at like 6 o'clock, and we'll make the cutoff midnight. If it doesn't happen by midnight, we'll just end the stream. And
Yeah, we'll
maybe
do a
maybe we'll do some kind of thing later on
Yeah.
if we can't get it done, or
Another
we'll just
milestone.
resume it.
Yeah. Our forfeit will be like giving ourselves splinters.
Oh God!
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, we all have to just get a splinter under our fingernail.
I didn't say under the nail.
I would quit the show.
So would I. It's mine.
would throw
It's
up.
my show. I'd quit. But yeah, that's going to do it for us, guys. Make sure you subscribe here on YouTube. You turn on post notifications so you know when all those videos come out for the rest of the year. And of course, turn on. I already just said turn on post notifications. Of course, like the video and leave a comment. Go ahead and comment who you think is going to be the worst team in baseball that's not the Rockies. And then, of course, on the podcast platforms, rate 5 stars and give us a follow. And follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Stay up to date with our short form content. Got some fun stuff coming. We're about to record
Yes.
2 videos that are going to be coming over the next 2 weeks. And that's going to be a blast. We're going to have another one that we're recording next week, I think. And then That'll be the first 3 weeks of content. So I'm very excited. June is going to be a fun time. July, August, all that is going to be a blast, and we're looking forward to it.
Wee.
Essentially, we should have at least 3 videos a week coming out for the whole second half of the year. June all the way through the end of the year. There should be multiple videos coming out each week, which is very fun. All right. I will catch you guys on Monday with Colin, and Luke will be back next week.
Yes,
and,
sir.
Catch you guys later. Peace.